Everybody keeps asking whether Los Angeles rap has evolved. And honestly, watching YG versus the game, it made me realize we're having the wrong conversation. The real question isn't whether YG beat the game in the verses or not. The real question is LA gang culture holding LA rap back? Now, before anyone gets offended, let me be clear. People constantly confuse LA rap with West Coast rap, and they're not one and the same at all. The West Coast is much bigger than LA. You have the Bay Area, Stockton, Sacramento, Seattle, Phoenix, Vegas, Portland, you name it. Every region has its own identity. But for some reason, when people criticize gangbanging and West Coast hip hop, most of the time they're really talking about LA rap. During the YG versus the game event, Complex even changed its branding to Bomplex. They have done this once before in the past, but to see them bring this back was alarming. The stage was filled with red bandanas, be-walking, gang signs, blood imagery. For some people, that's authentic representation. For others, it felt like watching the same movie they already seen for 30 years. And when I looked at the comments online, one question kept coming up. And the question was, at what point does this become played out? Now, this isn't a new conversation. Dejan Paul, who's a West Coast rap critic, he's been saying for a while that West Coast artists need to move beyond gang politics.
It just looked extremely ghetto, extremely unprofessional, sloppy. The key players were drunk. I didn't like all the red bandanas, 50 gang members on stage. Game was, just doing extras. He seemed too fanned out for YG.
Oh, okay.
Seemed way too fanned out for YG. It's cool with showing love, but like every YG song, you going up more than YG and you just dick riding him.
It's because you're drunk.
Yeah, he was sloppy, belligerent, drunk. And I think between the drunkenness and all the red bandanas and then super gangbanging, I even watched the Joe Budden podcast and they were saying that too.
Even Big Sad 1900 recently made a similar point. His argument basically was, if LA artists want to grow beyond California, the music has to connect with people whose lives have nothing to do with gang culture.
What is your thoughts on the current scene of LA rap and West Coast hip hop right now?
My thoughts, honestly, I feel like everybody doing their thing. It could be better though, as far as like, we come from a gang banging culture, so sometimes we get stuck just talking about our community, and it's like we gotta just open up what we talk about a little bit. Widen the conversation. Like, talk about everything. Make people really relate to you. Come speak from the heart when you speak. I feel like we got a lot of like different type music, but the shit gotta come from the heart, man.
And I think there's some truth to that, because let's be honest, most people in America don't grow up around Bloods and Crips. They can't relate to that lifestyle. So if every interview, every album, every performance keeps coming back to gang politics, eventually your audience becomes limited. It is what it is. Now, don't get me wrong, I listen to LA artists too, but look at people like Vince Staples, Snoop Dogg, Joey Fats, all from Long Beach actually. They still represent where they come from. Nobody questions that. But gang culture isn't the centerpiece of everything they do anymore. Snoop is building businesses, television, sports, entertainment. Vince Staples has his own Netflix show and continues pushing himself creatively. You got people like Joey Fats, who's built his own clothing brand, record label, clothing store. There are examples that, you can evolve without forgetting your roots. Then you look at Northern California, right? I listen to a lot of Larry June, people like I Am Sue, 1100 himself. That music still feels regional. It still represents where they're from, but it doesn't rely on gang affiliation as the main identity. And that's why I think people confuse LA with the entire West Coast. The Bay built a completely different identity.
Like LA in the Bay Area, the Southern Cal.
The biggest difference?
Yeah.
Gang bang in the Bay.
At all.
That's really mostly it. And that's really it. Like, they can't claim Crips and Bloods and shit like that, but they got like different neighborhoods also, but we just claim neighborhoods, we claim our street.
Now, here's where this conversation gets even more interesting. Look at what's happening with YG right now. His new album has people saying he's still leaning into the gang image. Then you have the song We Know the Truth, where he's addressing rumors that have followed him for years surrounding the murder of Draco the Ruler. To be clear, YG has not been charged with Draco's murder, and there is no public evidence. There's no evidence that he was involved. Right now, everything is just speculation that largely stems from the well-known feud between Draco's camp and people affiliated with YG Circle. But speculation is not proof. Let's get that clear. Still, because that gang narrative already exists around him, Every lyric and every move gets viewed through that lens. That's part of the problem. When your public image becomes inseparable from gang politics, people stop talking about the music. They start talking about everything around the music. Personally, I'm not saying artists should erase their history. Hip hop has always been about telling your truth. If that's your story, tell it. But there also has to be room for growth. You can't talk about where you came from without making it your entire identity forever. I think that's why artists like Snoop Dogg continue to resonate across generations. He evolved. He didn't abandon his past. He completely expanded beyond it. And I think more LA artists have an opportunity to do the same, because at the end of the day, I think gangbanging is what made the West Coast hip hop. West Coast great was creativity, the innovation, production, slang, the culture, entrepreneurship, storytelling. That's what connected with the world, right? So maybe the next evolution of LA rap isn't about forgetting where it came from. Maybe it's about showing people there's even more to it than that. Let me know what y'all think. Does LA rap need to evolve beyond gang culture, or is that imagery too important to its identity? Let me know. I'm Lowski the First. This is Play That Back. Peace.